right, let's see. I'm trying to get my okay.
The beauty shot. I gotta admit, well, just comment. You've got a beautiful background there with all the gear, man.
Thank you.
Just over the years, or
Yeah, and my partner, that one of the guys that I do the acoustic show with, Dusty. He's from Windsor, Ontario, Canada, and he was up here and we were doing a rehearsal for our acoustic show, and he said, we ought to just lay all of this stuff out like this. I said, dude, if you got a vision for it, go for it, because I don't have that vision. So Dusty and my wife Lisa put that together.
right on. Well, Mark Farner, welcome, and I just like to say good day to you. And how are you doing today?
I'm great, Nathan. I'm proud to be sucking air, buddy.
Yeah. And so anyone who's not familiar with Mark, we're going to run through just the statistics. It doesn't define a man, but it just goes to show how much of a patriotic legend you are. So, Mark's been a part of 14 top 40s, 5 top 10s, 2 number 1s in the past, 10 platinum records, 10 gold records, more than 30 million records sold worldwide, right?
Is that
and a former member, Grand Funk Railroad, man, wrote plenty, most of their songs, man. So it's, pardon me?
92%, brother. Just for anybody that's statistically, they got to be correct. That's it.
That's it. And you know what? It's a very special part of history. But the real question is, what is your title in your heart and what you think of yourself as?
My American band. I am a friend of the people. I am a friend of all people. I play my music. When I wrote it, I didn't write it for any particular people. I wrote it for all souls, because no matter what color our skin is, all of us got red blood. Thank you, Jesus, for redeeming our sorry asses.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So before we get the rundown, we're going to go through a quick history, but I just want to bring up at the beginning of this, April 6th from Chile With Love. You've got a DVD coming out. We're going to get more into it towards the end, but I just want any comments from you just to throw it out there.
It's, this DVD, it's in pre-sale right now. If people buy it in pre-sale, it's going to be autographed by yours truly. I don't know how many thousand I'm signing. They're overnighting them to me today. So get your pre-sale and get it signed by yours truly. There's 16 performance tracks, 2 bonus videos, 5 bonus songs for $14.99. What a deal. $14.99. And Lisa, my wife, and I, we take $3 from every DVD sale and give it to Veterans Support Foundation, Nathan. And veterans support is very crucial to getting our veterans help when they return from a foreign land and they're trying to get back into society, or maybe, they're trying to get the money that they are owed for the service that they gave to their country. They need somebody to advocate for them in front of the authorities. This is the place, because it's of veterans, by veterans, and it's for veterans. There's no government shenanigans going on, and everything's on the table up here. Nothing's underneath, and what you see is what you get. Can I give the 800 number, brother?
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's toll free, 800-882 1316. That's 800-882 1316. Veterans Support Foundation.
And
if you get them that number. If you know if that needs help, if you see one sleeping on the street, get him that number, because we'll put him in a house and get his life back for him.
It's a real blessing, man. It's a real blessing. So what, you've been a good man over time, but what made you want to do this? And is it, I didn't even know this until now. So is it a big promotional thing, or is it kind of just like, hey, we're doing the good deed here? And how did that kind of spring about for you?
Well, it started on Veterans Day. I did a little thing here in our studio, and I just honored the vets, and I put the rock and roll soul video. I put it up that day, and to celebrate and to commemorate Veterans Day with our brothers and sisters, and to give them something for free. They can download, and it's still for free at markfarner.com. You can go over there and download the Rock and Roll Soul video for free, no cost to you. And it's just saying thanks for all of the support that I get. People love it that I am for our veterans. Brother, I love it that I am for our veterans. They're my kids. This is my family. And no, like I said, all that blood is red, brother. And I see everyone the same. There's no racial discrimination. All that horse crap is brought on by the electronic monster. You turn that sucker on, it starts feeding you lies. If you buy into it, you turn into a turd. That's what happens.
Yeah, but you know what, man? The guys are out there active duty and doing, laying their lives on the line. It's the least we could do for them. So, we definitely take it for granted. It's a thing, but it's an absolute blessing to live in this country, and definitely thankful for that. So, what
risk their safety to protect ours. Man, if that don't touch your heart, they
right.
their lives to protect ours.
Yeah. And so, yeah, you're doing a great thing, just giving back, man. Using your will and your power, in the ways you can. That's a great thing. And I'm looking forward to hearing what comes out from that, If nothing, if you don't hear about it all around, it's still happening. So just to know that.
That's right, brother.
So let's rip it off. Let's go back to growing up. Little rewind, right? We're just for any student or any individual who doesn't know or isn't recognized with the history going back from there. So you grew up in Michigan, right? And
yeah, in Flint, Michigan. And all of the people, I mean, a lot of people, I won't say all of them, but a lot of people that I've done interviews with, they're curious as to why so much music came out of Michigan. You know, uh, you got all that Motown music. You got the MC5, you got Grand Funk, you got Alice Cooper, you got Glenn Fry from the Eagles, on and on and on. All these people. I think it is a result of the folks moving. Like my mother moved to Flint, Michigan when she was 16 years old. She met my dad there. He was a Flint native, and they got married. And every Sunday, the people from Leachville, Arkansas, where my mom came from, all those people brought their instruments. They brought the violins, the banjos, the guitars. My dad played saxophone and guitar. My mom and all these women would sing. It sounded like angels, dude. I'm telling you. And I would I'm this little shaver, and I'm looking up at these gals singing, and it's just touching my heart. I got into music so deep, dude. I wanted to be music.
yeah.
Get all over me. So that's really the beginning of my love for it. But as life went on and progressed, I was playing in fifth grade. I took band class, and Mr. Smith, I wanted to play a bone. I said,
Yeah.
and he said, "Well, we got too many bone players already. Why don't you pick something else?" I said, "Well, what sounds like that?" He says, "Well, a baritone over here." And so I said, "I'll try the baritone." So I go over there and I'm sitting with the baritone. And then the next day he comes in and he hands me this mouthpiece and he says, just put that up to your lips and see if you can do your embouchure there, make it. So I go, and he goes, "Oh, perfect. I'm switching you to tuba." And I go, "What? What?" Huge, dude. It
They
was,
didn't do it, man. They told you. You know?
so I get put on this tuba, and it's in a chair. A chair holds it. You kind of slip in underneath it. You can sit there and play it. They adjust it to your height. But when you get out on the field, man, that big tuba, it's like you're listing a little to the left. You know, you got that, and up and down the field, we're marching with the marching band. Bam, 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 bam. Are the girls looking at the band? No, the girls are looking at them. There's over there. See, I said, dang, man. So in the 8th grade, I joined the football team. I and to qualify to be on the team, we had to do 2 laps around the outside of the football field, outside the fence. You know, I mean, we're talking pretty long ways. And I was the second one in. I mean, I was right behind the first guy, but we really wanted to be on that team. So he took all the first guys that came across that line as the team. And it just happened to be all us guys that hung together. We smoked cigarettes together behind the school over here. Doing something cool. But we hung together. We were a team. So we were undefeated consequently. We just loved each other enough and we knew each other enough how to play ball. We weren't great, big, huge guys, but we were beating the snot out of them big, huge guys, us little guys running out there. And that really put something in my heart. Every time I heard my name called out on the loudspeaker, that was Farner, number 66 in on the tackle. Man, I'd be prancing like a bad boy across that. Oh, yeah, that was me in on the tackle. Hey. And don't you know, every kid, all their life, they've been saying, watch this, Mom. Watch this, Dad. Watch this. Just getting their parents' attention. And for me, I needed that. And my mother, she knew how bad I loved that, you know, getting my name called. I said, did you hear them? They said my name on the loudspeaker. I got injured playing football. We scrimmaged the varsity team, and I had water on the knee and fractured finger. Oh, my God. So my mother knew how much I liked hearing my name called, knew how much I liked being adored by her women friends that would come over, and she'd have me play my guitar, and they'd go, oh, it's so cute. You know? So she got me that 6 lessons and rented a K acoustic guitar that the strings are this far away from the neck, dude. It's like you could have used it for a bow and arrow, this guitar. But I took 3 lessons, a guitar teacher. At that point, it was like bird season in Michigan. We had ringneck pheasants, opened October 20th, and he shot himself in the foot. Long story short, with a 12 gauge. So he calls my mom. I know he's only had 3 lessons, but have him go watch the guys in the high school because he's picking up by sight. He's picking up pretty quick. So that's what I did. I went and watched these guys that had a band in the high school. And my sister, Diane, who's 17 months older than I am, she used to hang with these guys and she knew them. And so I would go over to their rehearsal with her and learn some of these chords. They'd teach me and I'd go, oh, yeah. But before I was playing guitar with them, I was singing with them because I could sing, you know, Johnny B. Good and Nadine and all these songs. And when I finally got good enough, they plugged my guitar into the amplifier, and there I was playing music. And when I got done playing, people would applaud and clap, and it's like,
yeah,
it's number 66, Farner in on the tag. It was like that was happening for me.
Yeah,
that's how I got into it, dude.
and that's what I was meaning to ask you. This is you think about growing up, and when you find your desire and you want to pursue a career, you know, you have to lay that foundation of being decent at it, you know, growing, but then having the confidence to like pursue that is like pretty detrimental. It sounds like you had the confidence back when you heard your name going off, right? I mean, did you know you just had confidence in yourself, like right, just you just desired it, like it just came natural.
Yes, I I had it in me. I knew from watching uh, every Sunday, we'd either have Southern Fried Chicken or Sloppy Joe's, and the whole family get together and they jam, you know, and that was my love. I like I said, when those women sang, I loved watching the guys playing their instruments and that, yeah. But when those women sang, it was magic, dude. You know, family. We have that similarity in our voice, and when those voices are locked on in harmony, oh man, yeah, that's what put it on me, man. It was like, and I recognized that I love it that I can write a song, and
Yeah.
I didn't know that I could write a song until Dick Wagner from the Alice Cooper band and Ursa Majors, and his first band in Michigan was the Bossmen, and I played with the Bossmen for about a year. And one night after a gig, we'd gone up to Saginaw, Michigan, and we're at Dick Wagner's apartment. His wife and two kids are sleeping. It's 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. We're playing electric guitars, but not plugged in. Just, you know,
Yeah, yeah.
they're not very loud. And I'm sitting there on the couch, and I ask him, I'm playing, you know, he's showing me some stuff. I said, Dick, how do you write these songs? You wrote all these songs. How do they come to you? How does that work, man? He says, you can write a song, Mark. I said, I can. He says, yeah, man, it's in you. I know it's in you. You got a song in there. You need to write that. He says, I'm going to bed. He says, you stay up. I stayed up and I wrote the song Heartbreaker. That was my first song. And people love that song.
Absolutely.
In Santiago, Chile, at Teatro Caupolicán, that DVD shows the love. And when we do Heartbreaker, when we do Are You Ready, when we do all these songs, the audience is singing it so loud, dude. And we're talking a foreign country that speaks Spanish
Right.
singing my songs. I'm telling you, it's putting goosebumps on me just telling you right now. I'm
Mhm.
just going, oh yeah, that's it. That's part of that desire. It's inherent. Uh, and when you're getting it back, you're getting confirmation that yeah, this is what you need to be doing in life. So I did write 92% of the Grand Funk catalog, and I am who my songs say I am, brother.
Yeah.
Those people, and Nathan, this one, I mean, a lot of people have told me over the years that but this one guy was telling me, I learned English so I could understand the lyrics to your song because the songs were touching my heart. He said, I had to know what they were saying. So I learned English so I could understand your song.
That's just out of
That
this world, man.
isn't it? It's awesome. What a compliment. What a great thing to hear. And I try not to ever let that stuff go to my head, brother, because I've seen people, I've been around people that have let that stuff go to their head.
Uh,
Know what folks say behind their back.
is part of that being like humble, just keeping
Yeah.
yourself rooted and being in the flesh, being human.
Amen, brother. That's the whole deal right there. And you know, this COVID thing that went down, you know, we haven't been on the road in over a year.
Yeah, yeah.
So last summer, Lisa and I planted this garden. Oh, dude, we planted everything in there, and it came, and we were eating a pumpkin bisque last night that my wife made, and she substitutes because to keep my figure slimmer eliminates a lot of that fat crap, right? So instead of the heavy cream that would normally go in a bisque, she put like coconut milk in there, and it came out great. It, we're sitting there last night. My son's showing me his new AR-15 build that he put together, and Lisa's over there cooking, and we're smelling, going, "Ooh, what are you cooking?" Says pumpkin bisque, and we go, "Okay, push all this stuff away. Okay, it's time to eat." It just, the smell got to us, dude.
Right. What a total story, man. But just an average night maybe, or just a nice night back at home. So that's so much gold just rooted in everything you said. There's so many questions. We could talk about well, just that, during COVID, I try to keep it on the low, not make it the main subject, because we're moving on with life, and there's a lot of great things out there. But it's nice to bring up, hey, when we were down and hanging out at home, you're at home doing a garden, doing these cool things on your own time, and gaining an appreciation of just the things around you. And that's super. I just like to hear from any individual, especially from a legend. So what else was in there?
Yeah, the whole thing of just not being that active, usually I would be gone, and if I tried to plant a garden, by the time I got back, the weeds had taken it over. I don't know if you've ever gardened, but you got to pay attention to those weeds. And every day I love to get down there, because I'm down. It's exercise, You got to keep this thing moving, brother
Like
Nate.
a child,
Yes, that's right.
Nurture it.
But if you don't use it, you will lose it. So I use my muscles. I use my muscles when I'm cutting it with a chainsaw, when I'm cutting firewood, when I'm cutting down a tree. I'm around the farm here, and I'm physical. I have to be, in order to be the Mark Farner everybody wants to see on that stage.
Shirts off, man.
It's like, it's a goal. It's an everyday thing, and I'm going, man, I would like to have that. Oh, that would. But then I start thinking, oh, that'll put 5 pounds on your ass, dude. Stay away from that. I am very considerate about what I'm eating, but my wife is really. She took college courses for. She could tell people what to eat to make them better from whatever circumstances. She's a clinical dietitian, so that is a plus. And her taking care of Jesse, our son Jesse, who broke his neck in 2010, and he was quadriplegic. He lived here at our house until he died in 2018 on 4th of July. And she took all of her knowledge and put it into him, and kept him comfortable, kept him alive. He was on life support and quadriplegic. So it brought a huge lesson into our life, brother. And he's gone, but he's whole now. He's whole. And he's waiting on us, because we don't get to keep these things. The bone suit will disintegrate someday. The life will leave this. And I think if we realize up front that we're headed for paradise. And I can say this, brother, because when I died 7 years ago, they put a pacemaker in me. My heart quit because I had a bundle branch block. And I went to heaven. Dude, I was in heaven. And when I knew I had to come back into this bone suit, I said, shit, I'm serious. I did not want to come back.
This is you.
This is me, man, 7 years ago. And when I was there in heaven, it was like getting home. I was more secure. I knew that this is where I started from. I was back to a very, very familiar place. And all the debt consciousness that I had acquired while on earth, all that crap was gone. And I was standing in freedom. I was standing than in Jesus Christ. And that blood, man, that's why I say we got different color skin, but we all got red blood. And that's what Jesus gave for all of us. And we all go because love is unconditional. And I don't care what anybody else says, based on my experience, we all go. So get that in your heart. Don't get so adapted to this earth that you got to have all these toys and all these things, because I did that. I used my money. I bought 2 of everything in case one would break. I still have a good one to play with.
Yeah.
And that doesn't buy happiness. Happiness comes from knowing where you're going. And when you leave the bone suit, you're going back home. I just got to tell everybody that. I say it, Nate, because I had the experience, and I think people need to know. They need to have that peace that this ain't it. We're here. Let's make this a better place. Let's all join together and make it a better place. Let's not get selfish and all of us become these bazillionaires who've lost their mind and try to control the world with all this horse crap. Let's just love on each other and make the planet a great place and save what's left.
Yeah, there's a lot of beauty in this world, Mark. And there's also, pretty materialistic in a sense. A lot of things, lots of things all around the world. So it's a part of the world, and every individual takes it on their own way. And it's intriguing to hear about your story, man. So I really appreciate you sharing that. Really. So, man, there's so much gold. I would talk to you for hours, man, hours and hours. I'd love to at some point. I got to try to get through some of these questions just so, other students and individuals can hear about it. If they don't know, do the quick rundown. So let's go back just one more time. When you were growing up, let's think as a musician, you already had the confidence, you had the desire. I mean, you had the total family norms of being a musician anyways. I mean, this is like just ready to go, right? And so what got you into the band? You met the guys, and what was the feeling like going to your first performing your first concert? It probably you had the confidence. It wasn't anything astronomical, or do you recall?
Well, when Grand Funk, when we put the band together, and we started in 1969. Terry Knight, who was formerly with our band called The Pack, it was Terry Knight and The Pack, until we fired him because Don and I could sing better than he could, and we just didn't need another mouth to feed. We needed to have more of that money to keep for ourselves. But anyways, Terry had moved to New York City, and Don kept in contact with him. And Brewer says to me, Terry's got this apartment in New York, and he's got a lot of connections in the music industry, and he wants to manage us. I said, dude, he's crooked as a pan of guts, dude. He's going to screw us. And he said, well, at least we'd be getting out of Flint, Michigan. And there's something he said there. I mean, it was like, I had to go, well, let's see what he's got to say. So he came in, and he heard the band, and he says he had written a song. Terry Knight was a songwriter as well, but he had written a song called Grand Funk Railroad, but it's a play off the name of an actual railway system that runs from Ontario, Canada, down through Michigan and into Ohio. It's called Grand Trunk and Western Railway. And Terry named his song Grand Funk Railroad. He says, why don't you guys use that song title for the band title? I said, sounds good to me. Everybody said, okay. And that's how we just adopted that, So we get in a guy's van, a 6-window, one of these, Chevy van. I think it was like the half ton or something, we put a U-Haul trailer on the back of it. We've got equipment in the van. We've got equipment in the trailer. We got guys sleeping over the top of the equipment that's in the van. We're going to Atlanta, Georgia to play this pop festival because Terry Knight's attorneys were doing the legal work for the first Atlanta Pop. and they made them a deal on their fee, on their attorney fee, if they could put their band on first, and we would play for free. So the concert promoter said, "Yeah, we'll do that." So there we were, dude, and we went down to Atlanta in this van, our friend's van, and he loaned us his driver, Jimmy, too. But Jimmy had driven all night. We're trying to make it to Atlanta, Georgia, because it's the next day's a concert. He drove all night, and in the morning, as it's cracking dawn, I look up, and this is before I-75 was finished, and it's the sign. It was like a temporary sign. It says I-75 and an arrow to the right, and I'm over there riding shotgun, sleeping, and I set up, and I look over at Jimmy. I said, "Jimmy, I-75's this way," and he turns going fast, and that U-Haul flipped over, and it went down through the ditch, dude, and all of our equipment was in there. Our amplifiers was in there. We end up having to take all the equipment out of the trailer. Then we push it back over onto the axles, load it back up, and we head down the side of the expressway. The wheel comes off that trailer and passes us, jumps over the oncoming traffic that was going north. And we thought, we lost the tire. Well, we went over there in this farmer's field and found that tire, that wheel, brought it back. We took a couple of lug nuts off the other side because it had stripped all these lug nuts off. We took two from the other side, put it on there, and we just kind of creeped down the edge of the expressway. And the next exit had a U-Haul trailer place sitting right there. We swapped the trailers, put all of our stuff in, and we saw all the damage that rolling that trailer did. And we said, we'll just have to deal with it when we get there. So it was pedal to the metal, hammer down. We make it into Atlanta. We pull in backstage. They get the stuff out, and wires are sticking out. The chassis have the transformers ripped from them, and these roadies are going, "Oh my God, how are we going to do this?" So other roadies back then, everybody was family, and it didn't matter what band you were a roadie for. If somebody needed help, you went over and helped them. And that's what happened. There was 20 guys on our stuff, and they were soldering connections. They were soldering wires back together. They were duct taping stuff, putting it up there on stage. And even though it was kind of crippled up, it sounded magnificent. Rest amplifiers. And until I had the advantage of, actually getting up on the stage, the only thing we could do is walk over and we look out in the cracks of the fence and see the first 10 or 15 rows of the audience. We could hear them, but we couldn't see them until we got up on stage. And dude, when I got to that top step and I looked out, and there's 185,000 people, it was an ocean of folk.
185,000 people. Try to retrospect that. Yeah. You can't, that is something special, man.
Yeah, and our first show.
This was legitimately your first gig on the road.
Our first show.
First show, wow.
And we played the music from our first album. And we ended with Wilson Pickett's Land of a Thousand Dances. But we did it Pickett style. And I took my guitar off and I'm dancing around the stage. And I got this $50 paisley print see-through shirt on. $50 back then, dude, that was a lot of money. But I was, sweating so bad, it was hindering the way I was moving. So I just took that thing and I ripped it off, and the audience went, "Yeah!" And I went, "Ooh, that worked." Attention to the stuff that works that you just stumble over. Every once in a while, it works for you. So they didn't want us to leave. Capitol Records was there. We got our contract with Capitol Records, but actually we were signed to Terry Knight, and he had the contract between Goodnight Productions and Capitol Records, and he signed the band to his Goodnight Productions, and told us that the 6% that we were getting was more than the Beatles made. And we're thinking, dang, man, we're getting more than the Beatles. But we didn't know that the contract was for 16%. He was keeping 10, giving the band 6, and then taking a management commission from that 6%, and had me publish all my songs through his publishing company, which took half the money for every time that song sold a record. Publishing is half the money, writers is the other half. The whole royalty is split in half, publisher, writer. There you go. And just in case, some of your viewers need to know that, you got to protect your publishing and don't give it up. I did, and it cost me millions over the years. It really has. But I forgave Terry Knight. I talked to him on the telephone and told him that I forgave him before he died. And he was this gruff. He was really kind of trying to come off like he was pissed off. But at the end of our conversation, he was happy that I forgave him. He was blown away that I could forgive him after all that. He knows what he did, and we only knew a part of what he did. But I told him, I said, I forgive you because, dude, the Bible says, forgive with the same measure that you expect to be forgiven with. And man, that gets to you. That if you just let those words dwell in your heart, you will soon be forgiving a lot of people, because that sets you free. So I set myself free by forgiving him and setting him free, calling him on the phone and letting him know in person. And that made a big difference in my life. And it made a big difference in the way I play music, because the more honest you can be, the more transparent you can be, the music will come through you like a piece of clear glass. There's no coloration, no distortion, no fog, no smoke, no mirrors, piercingly clear.
Absolutely. And so, even though things didn't go the ideal way back in the day, there's got to be so many lessons learned, and even though the music industry, it's totally revolutionized now than maybe when you were going through those phases now, what do you think the lessons could be learned, or what would you say to like any individual that is young and pursuing music? What would you say to them, even with a revolutionization or anything like that?
Well, it's not the same as when I was a kid, because when I was a kid and growing up and learning music and playing music, the radio stations were all owned by American families. There was a 777 rule. You could own 7 AM, 7 FM, and 7 television stations, which kept it in the family hands. There was moms and dads, grandpas and grandmas that had moral conscience over what our children saw and heard in this country. And in 1996, under the Clintonistas, they deregulated the FCC. They took the family, they took the patriotic heart, they took that conscience for our children out of television, out of radio, and they put their money first agenda, and we're really suffering from it. You see what has gone down recently. I've been telling people since 1996, stop watching ABC, NBC, CBS, MSNBC, CNN, Fox, all them mainstream, because they're owned by the corporate conglomerate. And that mindset is not for family. It don't care about family. It cares about money. If your family gets in the way, they'll crap on your family so they can get that money. That's the only thing they're concerned about. And this is why radio turned into horsey poo-poo all across this country, because the people's influence has left. They don't want our opinions anymore. They don't want to know what songs we like and we'd like to hear them play on their station. They could give a crap less, because all this is the programming that they've done to those who are gullible enough to listen and fall for it. Because if you you watch this stuff and it's lies and you believe it, what does that do for your opinion, really? But people, the ego of that person is going to say, no, this is how it is, and they'll fight you. They'll be the first one to turn your butt in if they start confiscating guns. They'll say, oh yeah, he's got some over here. That's how bad it's got. So you know, that was the most important thing that happened. Um, my brothers and sisters who are musicians coming up in the business, it's because, you know, you got a talent that you're there in the first place. You might love music, but if you got a talent, then give love an increase with that talent. Do it for love and pursue the love. Don't pursue anything else. Just pursue your heart in that music. And because you're not going to have the same platform that I had. I could walk into WTAC in Flint, Michigan and ask Bob Dell, the DJ, can you please play this? We just drove from Nashville all night to get here for your morning show. Can you please play this 45 acetate of the Harlem Shuffle? He took that disc, he put it on a spindle, put the needle on, dude. That's how it used to be, but that is gone. Those days are gone. But that's a true story. And it's a fairy tale almost for musicians to know that you could walk into a radio station, hand them your record, they'd put on a spindle and play the thing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yes, they'd see what the people around that were listening had to say about it. How did they like it? You know, that's how it got started. So in '96, when the corporate conglomerates took over, Brother Nathan, all of that personality, all of our disc jockeys that kept our communities informed and kept us together, he could recognize, or she could recognize your voice because they heard it so many times on that phone when you were calling in requesting songs. Yeah. Oh, it's you, Susie. What do you want today? It's like, you know, we were a community. We lost our community. We lost the orchestration of our community. We're still here because the brothers and sisters, my brothers and sisters, musicians, still got the talent. They still pursuing, but because of the disenfranchise of what happened with radio and television, it's hard to say, well, let's just release it. Let's throw it up on YouTube and see who salutes it. You can't do it that way. I mean, some people have made it very successfully, but they've had some logic and some kind of promotional stuff behind them, using the internet, I'm saying, you know, as a tool to market their music. It's about the only option because all the record labels, most of them are gone. They're under, and the new ones that are out, they don't know what the heck they're going to do. Everything's up in the air because of this whole COVID deal at this point. But I would say to my brother and sister musicians to hang with your craft and pray to God that you can use it to set somebody free, to make somebody happy, to put a smile on somebody's face. You know, get into that and don't pay any attention to the man behind the curtain who's pulling all these levers and got all these wars going, all this distraction. Pay attention to your heart. Your heart's good.
Right. And just to knock off that, you know, the record labels, it's revolutionized so much. People are just independent now. You know, they can release things on Spotify or the, you know, all the streaming platforms and can be just as an individual. They don't have to be signed. I mean, music is completely saturated. Instead of having your vinyl of 18 minutes of just pure, just absolutely amazing music, it's at millions and millions of songs are at your fingertips now. It boggles my mind. I am trying to have that conversation, just try to figure out, you know, the values lost or received, you know, and that's just in itself, you know, you can't replace the physical form and that appreciation of just like 18 minutes and then the work it takes to take it off, put it away, you know, it's the process. And now it's just, hey Siri, Can I? It does it for you, man.
You hit the nail on the head, brother. Really.
uh,
So many people. That's why vinyl is coming back so strong, I believe,
it
because
is.
you got that whole big album to put all your words, your pictures. You can tell a story. You can put a fold out. There's a lot that's missed, as you mentioned, brother. People really, they used to take good care of that record, and they had their everything in a stack. They had a D-static thing that you ran and turned the turntable on, and you put this thing down, and it was a craft just to get it to play. You had to know some stuff, and then sit back and listen to that coming out of those grooves, man. I love that analog sound of that disc spinning with a needle on it. My friend calls it a grinding wheel, because you're grinding off the plastic every time you play it. You're taking a little bit more. But man, that is a romance that was developed back then that is lost, as you said. Today, it's just like push a button, eh?
Yeah, so I wanted to speak about your style just a tad. Listening to your music, whether it's with Grand Funk or your own albums, man. I mean, it's amazing how it's evolutionized over time, going through the 70s, the 80s, 90s, adding the synths and the things like that. And in your contemporary kind of music, your genre, there's so much gold in there. But I wanted to bring up your style. Like, for example, Closer to Home, I'm Your Captain. The composition is just out of this world. I mean, it's a nice 9-minute song or so. It's amazing. My mom and uncle grew up in Canada. They'd be growing up and playing it on the guitar late at night, with all their friends, man. I mean, this was special, very special. And how in the world did that style come about? I mean, because it ranges. You seem to be able to do it all. Rip the guitar, shred it, do it all across the board. Did you have a certain style, or when did you find it, or how was that?
Well, it's just developed, over the years. It started when I was just singing, and the one time I walked into WTAC, that the morning I told you about, asking Bob Dell to put this 45 of the Harlem Shuffle on there. On the way out of the station that day, Bob Dell told us, there's all those albums alongside the door right there. If you guys want any of those albums, take them with you, because what you don't take is going in the dumpster. So we stop on the way out. I did a little album roulette, and I go, and I grabbed one. It just happened to be Howard Tate, Get It While You Can. And there was this, on Atlantic Records, it was two colors. It was purple and blue, and it was like metallic, and here's this guy's face. And I said, well, that's all I want. I'll just take that. And I get back to the house, pull that shrink wrap off of there. I put Howard Tate on, drop that needle in the groove, and dude, there is my vocal influence. I did love Aretha Franklin, Stevie Wonder, Donny Hathaway, Edgar Winter. A lot of people, I like their vocal styles, but this guy, man, Howard Tate, he captured my attention, and his range to go up and to down, and he played guitar, and he was a monster, and had this band, this horn section, from heaven in there. And I picked up some of his stuff. I kept listening to his songs, and that was that was the one I wanted. It was like everybody's got their favorite guitar player or something. They want to try to get a sound like that. Well, he was my favorite singer, and I aspired to be somewhat close to his style when I was on stage, and that's what came out. It was a style that, because we lived in Flint, Michigan, we're listening to WAMM, which was a black station that played R&B, played soul music and some of the Motown stuff too. But we had CKLW, Windsor, Ontario, across the river. They were booming out. I think they were like 50,000 watts, and we were getting them. But everything was this dance music, and everything was happy. And when you go out with your girlfriend, you're gonna go dance. You're gonna go dance. They're gonna spin records, and you're gonna dance. Or there's gonna be a band up there playing live, but everybody's gonna be dancing, having a good time. That was really kind of like our community back then. And I wish people, younger people that are living today, I wish they could have experienced that time, because it was very freeing.
Mhm.
We were not driven by lamestream. We were driven by our voices to one another, our love to one another, the songs that would, make it in our community was like Four Dead in Ohio,
Mhm.
that song. And that song by Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young was,
Legendary.
yeah. And
Just amazing.
it was recorded not in A440, which is the standard for the United States. That song was recorded in A432. And it just so happens that for the last 6 years, I've been playing everything tuned to A432, not A440. 432 is a better tuning standard because it is compatible with everything there is. It is compatible with nature. It doesn't
Mhm.
interrupt anything. It brings it through on a whole different level. And that's another little secret.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Oh man, just so much gold. And so I just want to cap off, the appreciation growing up with all those things. The without the distractions of the cell phones, and as you said, you wish younger individuals could experience that. It's a different world that we live in now, and but we can appreciate and hear about those experiences, and
Yeah,
look, appreciate that. And I think it's very, very special that you share that with us. And I wanted to talk about the musical influences that you spoke about, the radios and things like that. And that was going to lead me to, or just like a bonus question out here is, during the time of fame or during the up and out, were there any relationships or any crazy memorable moments you had with um other famous guys or anything like that? Anything you want to share just about those experiences?
we were doing a pop festival down in West Palm Beach, Florida, and the Rolling Stones were going to close the show. The bands were being flown in a Huey, which is a big, Army helicopter, but they did it the inside like a motorhome. It had nice pin spots and it was beautiful. All these plush cushions, very comfortable. So they're flying the bands from the hotel into the festival because you couldn't get into that festival. I mean, it was just packed, and there's no place to park or anything. So, anyways, flying the bands back and forth. Well, Janis Joplin, she was on the festival, of course, and she hung around because she had gone on first, and then if we played a bill together, whenever she'd go on first, she'd stay and watch us. Or if we went on first, I would stay to watch her because I always enjoyed her performance. And she'd like look over at me and give me a wink on the side. And so this particular festival, she had gone on, she stayed to watch us. And then when we got off the show, off the stage there, we got in the helicopter, and of course, Janice is with us, and we're flying back over to the hotel, which is, this great big pink hotel on an island out there. And we land on the beach, and everybody, the roadies got their flashlights, so everybody's kind of going in a group, and I got stuff that I'm taking with me, my man bag and stuff that I had, and I was looking for Janice, And I said, hey, where's Janice? Where's Janice? I don't know. She's not up here. I said, well, give me one of them flashlights. So I took Ralph's flashlight and I went back down to the chopper and it's sitting there going, whew, whew, whew. So I walk up to it, you duck down.
Oh yeah.
You couldn't jump up and get your head caught in that thing, but you were going to duck. So I ducked, I walk over and I look up in there and here's Janice. She's pushing on the cushions next to her. And then she'd move over and then she'd do that. And I'm watching her for a second. Then I step up on the step on the rung there of that chop. And I go, hey, and she turned around. She goes, oh my God, you scared the life out of me. And then I get up inside the chopper and I see what she's doing, Nathan. Besides the Ripple and the Southern Comfort whiskey and all this other stuff that she carried in her bag, she had 11 dozen Hershey bars, chocolate. It's a hot night in Florida, brother. It's a hot night. She's taking this chocolate and smearing it all over every seat in that chopper. I said, what are you doing that for, baby? She looked at me. She got that grin on her face. She said, I want to mess up Mick's britches. And that's back when he used to wear these white satin pants on stage. The ones with a big brown spot on the back of them. A little chocolate.
Yeah, man. We're all human, right? You can see the shining armor, but it's just hilarious to see, we're all human. So I love to hear about that. Right on, man. Well, it'll be best to, move into talking about the DVD just a bit more before we wrap up. It's the best thing to do. It's the least, I'm looking very forward to it, and I'd like to hear what you have coming up, whether it's the DVD or anything else. I've been looking more into the music industry, asking people on campus and students like, hey, how excited are you to come back? When are things going to come back? And as a prominent musician like you, what are your plans? What do you see? And take us on the journey of Mark now.
Well, as you know, because of the COVID thing, nobody has played any music out. The live concerts, there hasn't been any. There's been one here, one there, but no really concerted effort on behalf, for the promotion and the artists who are out there. In fact, my manager told me that a lot of the artists are not going to go back out. And he named a few names, and I said, "You're kidding me." Nope, this is kind of put them in. So I have, I'm still sucking air. I can still sing. I can still play. So I have the desire to hear my name called out on that loudspeaker, brother.
Yeah, man.
And so we got the DVD is being released April 6th, and April 23rd, I will be on the Huckabee show on television, Mike Huckabee, Governor Huckabee. And I just got news last night that we have 3 play dates coming up in June. People can go to markfarner.com to find out where we're going to be, but it's going to be special. These boys that I got with me, it's going to be like busting out a shoot number 4 on Dynamo.
Yeah, man. And you're shredding now. You still just shred it. Your voice, the voice, man, it's very, it makes people look up and say, hey, I respect that man, whether I like rock and roll or not, just everything about it. It's awesome. So again, the DVD, you got 16 live performances, 2 bonus videos, right? All of the pre-sales come signed.
5 bonus songs too.
5 bonus songs. $3 goes to the Veterans Foundation. you can help out with anybody out there. It's the least we can do for the people that are serving on the lines for our lives. So we thank you very, very much. I have one bonus question just to finish and wrap this up concerning the city of Omaha. All right. This is such a famous line in one of your songs. All right. And so I've got to ask about the song. We're an American band. It says 4 young Chiquitas in Omaha. Now, when I looked it up, it seemed that a former bandmate, Don Brewer, might have written that song. Is that correct?
He wrote the lyrics.
Okay.
And I wrote the music.
Okay, but do you know, I don't know how it works between you guys, what your chemistry was writing songs, but is there any comment you can make for Omahans or, what the memory was like? I mean, it made one of your biggest hits, the city of Omaha made that.
Yeah. I mean, Chiquitas, it would be, what if they said from New York City? It's not. What if they said from Los Angeles? It's not. But when you say Omaha, you're touching the heart of the nation. And those girls, they were real, and they had real hearts, and they really loved the band, and we loved on them.
Yeah, great, man. Well, I really appreciate the clarity. Every single time I've heard that song, I'm like, man, that is just awesome. Right in the middle of the country, it's just legendary.
Right.
So we really, really appreciate having you, and I can't wait for other individuals, if they listen to rock and roll or not, just to hear about you, man. So, and what you're doing now. So we thank you very much. Is there anything else you'd like to toss in the interview before we wrap it up here?
Just one thing. It's a little 4-letter word spelled D-E-B-T, debt. Our whole society, our whole life is revolving on our indebtedness to who we're borrowing all these trillions of dollars from, the families that own the Federal Reserve. Our whole life, it's been okay. We had to get a credit card. We had to get a car. Oh, got a payment. We got to get a house. Oh, you got another payment. You got another payment. That kind of debt will eat your ass up. But I'm talking not just financial debt. I'm talking if you don't fulfill the expectations of other people and they put you on the shit list, then you're in debt to them. Oh, there's all kinds of different debt scenarios. And we could sit here and define different ones. But that little 4-letter word, that don't belong to us. And I want to set people free from the notion of being indebted to something or someone or being beholden to something or someone. Never allow yourself to be indebted. Owe no man anything except to love him. This will free your mind. And I'm speaking this to a field that has been planted with some Roundup in it and stuff. I mean, there's some dangerous chemicals out there in that field. So I'm speaking this to those who have ears to hear. You are the captain of your soul. You determine what you will be indebted to or beholden to. Don't let anybody force you into a corner where you have to accept a state of indebtedness. That is ruining the world, not just the USA. This indebtedness. What are them families? Where's all that gold to back up all this paper they're printing? Where is that? I think it's just paper. And these families, they got the machines. Let's print more. Oh, they're coming closer. They're going to find out who we are. We better put more money in there. A few trillion more. That keeps us pacified, buying us this, buying us that. Oh, they're going to give us unemployment, $900 a week. Are you shitting me? I'm going to buy this. We become indebted. We're in debt slaves. So it's up to you, individual. You have the control of that. Don't accept it, even though you might owe a mortgage on your home. Don't let that mortgage supersede the love that you need to show to your family. Don't ever allow that to become a thing in your life. You're already in debt. Now you're hearing about being out of debt. It sounds good. If you'd have been trained to be out of debt in the first place, we'd never have this conversation. But the mind of Christ owe no man anything. I believe that when we all get ourselves cleared up and we're better from not having debt consciousness wrecking our lives, that we will see the miracles. We won't bring them and say, you be healed. They're going to come as a witness to truth. There's so many lies right now that when somebody speaks the truth, love is going to illuminate it. It's so stay on the side of love. Don't fall for any indebtedness. Set yourself free.
Absolutely. Great wise words from you, Mark. I really appreciate that. And anyone listening, I'm sure they can relate to that to an extent. And so on that note, we really appreciate you coming on here, man. We got to have a couple thank yous. First of all, for Mav Radio for giving me the opportunity to speak to this legend, as well as the people on your side, man. Great, nice people. And we appreciate that. So let's wrap up the interview. You could say goodbye to the people or anything like that. And we'll see you later.
And to Melissa Kushrik, she's my publicist, and she is ace, and she is a Nebraskan as well. So, we got love in the camp. Keep loving your heart, people. Nathan, brother, knock them alive.
Awesome. All right.